Oh, yes, it does appear we are live.
Yay.
Hello, everyone. I'm Lonnie.
I'm Amber.
And we are Untitled Nerd Network, brought to you by Infinity Flux out of Hickson, Tennessee. And this is the premiere Stranger Things review, recap.
Yay.
Stranger Things 2. The first episode of which is called MADMAX, which it's kind of funny about that name. We'll get to that here in a second. So, go ahead and knock out a couple of the big things out of the way first. Number one, this is going to be spoiler filled. We're not going to be holding back on this one. Number two, we are going to be doing legacy tokens. So if you pop up in the chat, you're going to be earning legacy tokens. We're giving 25 away for every 10 minutes watched. We're going to try to make this at least 10 minutes to ensure that happens.
Yay.
Also, I believe we're giving a 200 point bonus for new subscribers, this being the second season of Stranger Things, so our show reviews are quite a bit more. So, anyway, get a couple of the big plot points out of the way. Number one, this is a year later after the first one. Sean Astin's in it, which I did not know about. I've watched very little. I've seen the first and second trailers for Stranger Things.
I just watched that first one.
I watched the first two, and I've not read any news.
Yeah,
I've not seen who was going to be in it.
I wanted to be surprised.
Yeah, I mean, we watched two trailers. That's it. So, so far, this is really good. 11's back. We also see at the very beginning that apparently there is. I always did wonder if she's 11, what happened to 1 through 10. Well,
Yes.
we got to see number 8 at the very beginning of this. So it looked like somebody who was older, who actually has control of their abilities and is using their abilities to rob banks. So it starts out like a high-speed police
And
chase.
like she made them think that she was doing stuff, but she really didn't. It was weird.
Yeah, it was kind of went into people's minds, or the drivers of the cop car, and made them think that the tunnel had collapsed, and it was just in the driver's mind. But if you also notice, not only did the driver see that, and nobody else did, but also the driver seemed to have become sick afterwards, and so that it does something to their bodies possibly as well as their minds. So that does go to show that we have the
Others who are out of the
1
loop.
through 10,
And maybe all their powers are varying?
maybe.
Maybe.
I'm thinking it's probably some kind of super soldier program.
Oh, definitely.
Will, his mom, and the chief of police are taking him to like these, I guess, therapy sessions and stuff where he's telling this doctor with the same government facility what's going on, and they're like, oh, we're not the same people that were in the season 1, but they're the same people.
It is. It's the same people.
And it looked like are they going back into the Upside Down? Like, did you piece that together? It almost looked like part of whatever that monster is growing out of the portal, and they're trying to beat it back with fire.
I think that's what they're trying to do. I think they're trying to just hold it back and keep it contained, and that's probably not going to happen.
Yeah, we already see that things are starting to break through.
Right, things are starting to break through, and I think really I think the episodes he's having are premonitions.
Well, we
Like
also
if things
saw.
get out of hand.
I mean, it's not just limited to the Upside Down, because you remember we saw at the end of season 1 he was like puking up worms into the sink. So
Yeah.
these monsters are probably reproducing in the sewers and all kinds of stuff. And so I think
the inside of the pumpkins were like that too.
I was wondering, is the Upside Down beginning to breach into our world, and that was an episode of Upside Down Pumpkins? Like maybe that patch is going to eventually just be taken over.
It might be.
Or, I mean, yeah, because they got to call them pumpkins, and immediately something's wrong. They were trying to, like, the guy who owned the pumpkin patch was trying to say that, his neighbor or, his competition or whatever had poisoned all of his pumpkins, and that certainly was not the case. because these things had an upside down, smell to them.
Yeah.
Basically, I mean, they were busted open. They were black inside, flies everywhere, crap floating through the air. So I don't know. Like, I really don't, because I did hear. Now, I was actually on my way home this morning, and I heard on the radio that, let's see, I'm going to turn mine down. I actually heard on the radio that I guess the early reviews or whatever have like popped in from the critics and everything, and they have said that this season is a lot heavier on the horror aspect, and you can already really feel it.
Yeah,
something's not right. There's no missing kids. There's no nothing. It's just, this is going to be some straight up scary crap. And like I said, we're already feeling it. So
You scared Joseph while we were watching it?
Oh yeah, that was pretty funny. There was like this part where it's like really quiet and like they're kind of easing around. There's all, you don't really know what's about to happen. Like, I threw an empty water bottle at Joseph, which was kind of funny.
And that's not even what scared him. It was you yelling at him.
Oh yeah, I was like, Joseph!
That's what really.
So, that was how I'm getting my kicks tonight. So, but also, here's the thing.
What's up?
They've been pretty adamant. Now, I think it was like Comic-Con where they had a Stranger Things panel, and they basically said, hey, we got everybody who's the main cast here. We're there at the panel. And this is like the one thing I did know. And, people were like holding up signs saying, we want Barb and stuff like that. And people are still thinking she might be back. And I think they were pretty cut and dry at the end of last season.
Yeah.
They showed her dead body.
Yeah, she's not coming back.
And the main thing is, in horror, don't ever believe somebody's dead if there's not a body. There was a body for this, and it was pretty solid.
Pretty sure she's not. And then I felt so bad for her parents.
Yeah, that was one thing, because it looks like dude's sister, her best friend, and her boyfriend are going. I don't know if they're making this a regular thing, like maybe every couple of weeks or something, going to have dinner with Barb's parents.
Because they were just like, we already canceled last week when they were talking about it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And so they're going to see them, and I guess keeping in contact. And Barb's parents are now selling their house. Now, I wonder, did they show this just to kind of put that storyline to rest, or are her parents going to come into play later?
It might have been I think maybe to put it to rest.
Like they want to go ahead and establish, hey, it's done.
Yeah. They're selling the house, which means they're probably leaving town.
Yeah.
And that'll be the end of it.
Now, here's the thing. Do you think the government organization still has the same sinister bullcrap about them? Or do you think these people are legitimately trying to clean up and failing miserably?
Probably both.
So you think there's still a sinister element?
Oh, I'm sure there's some sinister element to it somewhere. It's the government. I mean, come on.
So we've
Call
got
me
that.
Crazy.
And it is this season, just this first episode's creepy. I like the kind of the throwbacks that a lot of the stuff they showed in the trailer, the Dragon's Lair video game that they're playing. MADMAX. Now this is kind of what I'm not quite getting just yet. I can already tell that they're probably going to add this new girl into the group.
Well, yeah.
Probably by the end of this next episode, if not the third episode.
Yeah.
Her name is like Maxine or something?
Yes, and she was like, don't call me that.
Yeah. So she goes by Max, and she enters her name into arcade games as MADMAX. And she had beat one of their arcade scores, high scores, by like 100,000 or something.
Yeah, better.
And so suddenly they're just totally enamored with this new girl. Because it looked like, what was that, like her brother that was driving her to school? And they looked like they had gotten into it about something. And, her brother is apparently already very popular with the women at school.
Yes.
He's like one of those like bad boys, gets out of his, sports car smoking, got on the, the denim and crap, and
Scorpions are playing.
typical 80s bad boy.
It was great.
Um, but yeah, she's going to end up being a part of the group. And here's what I'm kind of worried about is, if they're adding, chances are they're probably planning on taking somebody away. Just my thought. I think that either Will's going to disappear again or something bad's going to happen to somebody. I think that core group of 4 plus a girl. I don't know if 11's going to end up back with a group or what's going to happen there. But, apparently, is she staying? Is this like the chief of police's new house? Is this where he's living?
What it looks like.
Because he came in and took off his jacket and set his gun on the table.
Yeah, well, I mean, it looked like the same chair he had at his house in the first season.
Okay, so apparently 11 is living with him.
Right, I mean, she had dinner ready.
Yeah.
And she was like, "You're late. You didn't let me know."
But
yada,
how
yada,
did we
yada.
go? Or do you think we'll find out how we went from at the end of season 1 to him leaving Egos out in the woods for her to now them living together?
I mean, it's a year past, and believe it or not, he does have a heart.
No, but I mean, it seemed like he didn't even know 100% where she was at. He was just leaving food for her in the woods.
Well, he wasn't. He knew she was out there somewhere. He's not an idiot.
So in the course of a year, he found her,
and built a house
I mean, I want some explanation as to what happened.
Or maybe they found the house.
Maybe
it was
because it's a little
cottage.
Kind of cottage out in the middle of nowhere. It's got electricity. It's got, I'm assuming a bathroom.
It's got booby traps and everything.
Yeah.
He has a certain knock.
Yeah. So I guess if the government is still looking for, they'll get tripped up. And okay. They made it a point to show that there's booby traps. They made it a point to show that he did the knock. So at some point, somebody's going to enter that house without knocking. At some point, somebody's going to trigger that booby trap, the little string on the roof.
Yeah.
So they've established. And another thing, the doctor that was talking to him, did you notice how they made it a point to show that he was squeezing a stress ball? Why show that unless there's like really something weird going on?
Okay, so they showed that. That was like a precursor to him talking to the, people watching them anyway.
They put somebody in a hazmat suit with a flamethrower and send the dude, like, decontaminate him, send him into this, I guess, the kind of a foyer before you go into the upside down. And all these tentacles and stuff are starting to grow out of the portal. And he goes in there with a flamethrower and just starts spraying flame everywhere. So it's about to get real because Will, when he had his premonition or vision or whatever it was, he's basically transported into the upside down version of the arcade. And they showed this in the first trailer. And there's this giant, like, spider looking, like, huge, like 20 stories tall, big tentacle monster thing. Oh God. Thing is that what Will puked up? Or is that, because I mean, it went from like this to the size of a very large, like a sports stadium in the span of a year. Of course, who's to say?
Right.
It's also something, that, you remember, this is a little bit off topic, but at the end of last season, whenever he was like strung up in the upside down and they found him and they had to pull that thing out of his mouth. It reminded me of that Rick and Morty mind blower where he's puking up that space worm.
Good job, Morty. Well, can you speed it up? Pinch it off, then he starts swallowing it again. Oh. Yes. Ugh. Gross.
Oh.
Anyway.
Yeah, but anyway. This first episode, I'm going to go ahead and give it a 9.5.
Why 0.5?
Because it wasn't perfect. I could have stood. I mean, this did exactly what it needed to do. It scared a little. It set up perfectly, but I think they could have done a little bit better job of maybe explaining. I was just left unsatisfied by some of the plot points.
Yeah, well, especially the house point. I know that really bothers you.
I want to know how they ended up in a house out there together. I want to know. I think they could have done a little bit better job of explaining what's been going on the last year, and maybe they will later in the season. But I don't know.
I just knew that Will's brother and what's his name's sister?
Yeah.
I just knew they were gonna be dating.
No, they established that at the end of season 1.
Whatever, it don't matter. I don't care how established that was. That was ridiculous.
I mean, here's the thing. I wanted them to be a couple throughout season 1, but right now I don't really care. It just seems like they've kind of settled in where they're at.
Well,
and
they
I mean, they're still
He was
showing...
upset when they were hugging on each other and kissing on each other, and he walked off.
And she noticed that he walked off. They made it a point to show it.
So they're not settled.
I mean,
I'm just saying that's not settled.
I mean, I'm settled that who gives a rip, whatever.
Well, who cares how they got that house? But you sure care.
I do. That's the big thing. That's Lonnie's plot point. Lonnie's mind blowers.
God, I don't even want to think about it.
I don't even want to know what kind of memories I've had erased over the years.
Right.
But no, I mean, Stranger Things, it's going good. Like I said, it wasn't perfect. I don't really know if there was a if we were to go back and review the first season, I don't think I would give any of them episodes a 10 either. At the very least, they're really good episodes, just short of perfection. This is a really good series.
What would have to happen for you to actually give something a 10? Really?
In this show?
In any show in general. The only show that I ever know of you giving a 10 is probably The Walking Dead.
Rick and Morty.
What? Which episode did you give a 10?
Both interdimensional cables.
Okay.
We haven't gotten there yet.
Okay, that's doing, why I'm
both interdimensional cables. Rick Potion number 9. And the episode, the season 2 premiere.
Okay.
Where they split reality into all the different places. And the season 3 premiere. Season 3 premiere was the most perfect television in existence.
I don't know about that, but it was good. It was great. It was a 10.
Pretty close to giving the Vindicators a 10 too.
Don't even get me started.
But anyway, I mean, we ventured a little bit off. But does everybody like our new color scheme? I made all the stuff red, and we got a little Stranger Things logo. Yeah.
Perfect for Stranger Things.
So, probably should have kept that throughout October. But anyway,
let's wrap this.
Yeah, let's go ahead and wrap.
I guess I give it a 9 too.
You gave it a 9. I gave it a 9.5.
Yeah.
9.5.
Whatever.
Because it was just a hair short of perfection.
I don't believe in half points.
I do.
Never mind.
Because sometimes it's a little bit better than a 9, but it's not quite a 10.
I would rather just round it off.
I'm going to give this episode a 9.5438.
Please stop right now. Don't do that. That's not, you don't do that.
And I'm going to give the next one a 9.5439.
That's not. Let's wrap this. What?
You can see Jubilee looking at us through the web, surveying her kingdom. She's like, everything the light touches is my kingdom. What about that shadowy place? Oh, that's Joseph's room. We don't go in there.
Telling it a lie. They're in there all the time.
All right, anyway, 9.5, 9.0. Stranger
just
Things.
Not a point.
2, Chapter 1 was titled MADMAX. We did establish that MADMAX.
We were out Chapter 2.
Yeah.
You just said chapter 1.
I'll be damned. All right. Well, anyway, we're gonna have to fix that. Anyway, I screwed up.
Oh, who would have known?
All right. Anyway, thank you for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed. As always, hit that like button. Subscribe to us. And right at the top of the video description, there is a link to enter a giveaway for a November 2017 Loot Crate. The theme next month is Unite 2.0 with items from, what's that game that I don't like? Overwatch, Power Rangers, DC, and Voltron.
That game I don't like?
Anyway, everybody, thanks for watching. Subscribe, hit that like button, and we'll be back here in just a little bit with episode 2.
Yay!